You are forever swinging between this being and another, one being and another. The end of October lifts the veil of reality, allowing us to swing into the imaginary. We mirror figures from folklore, mythology, horror films and the like, manipulating our human features with fangs or eerie coloured eyes as we all gather till midnight. The menagerie of beings summoned from Halloween always serves to remind us why we adore costume design. We wanted to share some of our ideas with you today, as we often find ourselves creatively daydreaming about these sort of things. Because it's close to Halloween, some of these may be more harder to achieve given the time frame. We still wanted to get this video out though, as you can use it for future references. Or as the title suggests, you can take inspiration to conjure up visuals in character writing. But then again, adjustments can easily be made to these costumes to create a simplified version. So let's enter into the looks. The word kalopsa means the delusion of things being more beautiful than they are. A perfect example for our first look we thought of. We title it the poisonous bouquet. They are bewitching and we are all initially enticed by them, but these flowers hold quite a fatal flaw, as one swallow down the throat can have your body succumbing to dizzying effects or your life plunging down near the stem of death. For this idea, it would be best achieved as a group. Each person would be the personification of a poisonous flower. The bouquet would consist of belladonna, mountain laurel, lily of the valley, foxglove, oleander, water hemlock, lantana and jimson weed, just to name a few. The silhouettes seen in fairy-like outfits can help to weave a running thread within the group, but making sure to adhere to the colour within your chosen flower to establish the differences. The petal shapes seen in each flower can be made into skirts or dresses, and everyone can wear matching green wrapped heels that curve around the legs to mimic the stalks. Lastly, each person could wear an antique perfume vial around their necks, containing the poison they extracted from the petals. There is a feral girl with long fangs and the eyes of a beast. Beside her, a soft-spoken man with delicate features and a coffin strapped to his back. This ominous pair appears one day in a town that's enthralled to a witch, who has convinced the townsfolk she's their hero. But the two know better and have scores to settle. They won't hesitate to remove anyone in their way. The synopsis we just read to you is from the manga series The Witch and the Beast, the pair of protagonists being Guido and Ashaf. Guido is the beast portion of the title, for they are trapped in a female body due to a witch's curse. Their real form is a powerful masked man with a pitch black right arm. And Ashaf is the witch, a member of the Order of Magical Resonance. When perusing the manga's style, it has elements of steampunk, art deco, film noir, dark fantasy and gothic. The style of clothing worn by the characters is reminiscent of the aforementioned but more simplified. Ashaf is seen in long trench coats plus stylish suits, the only colour besides black being ivory off-white button shirts mostly. In lieu of the weight of a coffin strapped to your back, you can have a coffin-shaped necklace to give a nod to that story element. While Guido is clothed in a similar vein of style with coats that conceal a dress or shirt paired with a skirt and stockings, often accessorizing with a beret, piercings on the upper lobes and helix, but also not forgetting her golden yellow eyes. You could even paint one of your hands black to hint at the beast form. Because their outfits lean more towards the androgynous side, this pair could be for any couple. Often during Halloween you will see people dressing up as their favourite book characters, but how about taking inspiration from just a title? The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter has been a beloved book of ours. The title is quintessentially gothic, offering up the occasion to adorn one's body in crimson finery. A chamber, of course, is a private room, especially something like a bedroom. To represent this, you could construct a top, perhaps a corset, that mimics a door by affixing a large keyhole in the centre. Much like a fresh wound, a sanguineous piece of fabric is attached inside the keyhole, as it is pouring out, enveloping around your legs to form a skirt. You could of course add finishing touches to this look with other motifs seen within this novel, like a choker of rubies around your neck and in one hand holding a lily flower. When scrolling on Tumblr a few months ago, we came across an image of a butterfly drinking blood. The little thing was such a vibe that we immediately thought it would be a cool costume, a vampiric spin on the familiar insect. Picking some large butterfly wings would be the main feature of the costume. However, for a simplified version, you could wear a butterfly-shaped masquerade mask. Observing outfits worn in the unseelie court can help to envision the type of aesthetic, like gowns and pieces with floral and nature motifs. Additionally, adding some blood across your lips like a wash of crimson lipstick, with it also running down your neck, completes the look. It's believed that mostly in the 18th and 19th centuries, handheld fans were not only used to fan oneself, but to relay secret messages. The House of Duvel-Leroy, a fan maker and retailer founded in Paris in 1827, published a small leaflet explaining the language. Drawing across the cheek meant "I love you," with handle to the lips meant "kiss me," while drawing across the eyes meant "I am sorry." The concept of a group of people each embodying a phrase associated with a signal was interesting to us, thus materialised our idea. Each person would affix somewhere on their body a fan, preferably a large one for more opulence, with outfits of the 19th century to match. Or if the signal requires movement, then the costume would more so be a performance. For example, if one person wanted to symbolise "I wish to get rid of you," the fan would be secured on the left shoulder so it is close to the left ear. Poisonous bitter waters, devoid of human and animal life. Livelihood punished by floods, devastation of ecology everywhere. A venomous nine-headed snake monster, with his faces all in a glaucous hue, being the bearer of this trail of destruction. The name Xianglao. The version of this Chinese mythological tale and being we choose to call upon as our inspiration is seen in the drama Lost You Forever. The key characteristic to his mesmerising beauty is an all-white look. Long robes with subtle swirling embroidered design, a masquerade-type mask concealing your features as if you walked through an ice storm and the frost crystallised on your face, all the while wielding a crescent-shaped sword. To make said mask, you could use hot glue and add some sheer luminescent paint for a glistening effect. Of course, you would have to pay tribute to the monstrous 9 heads. If you were up for some more craft work, you could construct 9 snakes out of paper mache, or the aforementioned hot glue method. Each elongated creature wrapping around your hands, arms, and throat. Or the simpler alternative would be some sort of necklace/headpiece with 9 snake charms. Tapestry of Evil, Daughter of Darkness, The House at Swansea, House of Tombs, Ravenswood, The Night of the Enchantress, Crow Hollow, and The Brooding Lake. These are some of the names of the novels in the style of pulp gothic. Gothic pulp covers are overdramatic, lurid, campy, and macabre to their core. There is a particular mood, setting, and recipe to these book covers. A woman in a long flowing gown running from a haunted house or a graveyard. Phantoms mingling with the trees around her as she is frozen amongst the wind. A perfect portrait for a ghost she most likely will become. Sometimes there is a single lit window from the home, the only source of light as she is running through total darkness. Or we find our heroine inside the manor with a candelabra illuminating her expression of dread. Simply, all one would need to do to become the incarnation of this is to get your best vintage looking dress, grasp a candelabra and pair it with a frightened face. Squeezing money and dignity out of men, leaving an irresistible path of destruction. The Queen of Vampires, Purgatory's Ivory Angel, the wickedest woman in the world, and the Devil's Handmaiden, being some of the nicknames given to her. Eyes were always rimmed with coal liner as she posed with skulls, her costumes on the skimpy side with snake braziers, veils adorning her head, and more exotic jewellery. Of course, we are talking about Theda Bara, silver screen seductress and the original vamp. Her character's femme fatale sartorial style specifically featured clinging skirts, deep necklines and drop waists, sumptuous furs and velvet for a texture mix. Now to take this up a notch, we would make this costume be an actual vampire. Sharp fangs and the vital fluid dripping from them, paired with a face showcasing brows that are finely penciled like a sketch. Deep wine lips emphasising a small pouty cupid's bow, and hair that is romantic, voluptuous cloud of curls, the epitome of the silent film era. Eroticism, loud revelry, uninhibited atmosphere, risque humour, bawdy poses paired with gaudy looks of feathers, ruffles, sequins and rhinestones. Corsets and bustiers hugging all the figures, long gloves seductively slipping off arms, fishnet stockings with garters clad to legs, and bold, vivacious makeup, all of which is the essence of American burlesque, rooted in the tragicomedy of ancient Greece. We would boost this concoction up more by producing more of a kitsch feel by adding a vintage beaded lamp headpiece, hence our chosen title of The Lamp Lady, essentially being a literal lamp. The lamp would be worn as a hat. The hanging jewels and tassels are the pieces covering your face like a beaded curtain, so you can still see, of course. Maverick for punk, an ethos for rebellion and archaic ambience, ripped fabrics, safety pins, unconventional materials, and unconventional silhouettes. The iconic orb necklace, corsets and vests, oversized blazers, crinolines, tartan patterns, Harris tweed, lace, ruffles, reds, deep purples, blues and greens are some of the piece de resistance to Vivienne Westwood, but also the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland. So we bring forth the Westwood Hatter as our next look. The aforementioned pieces and fabrics we listed is the Vivienne Westwood part of it, but in order to add elements of the Mad Hatter, we would suggest you hold a fine china teacup and place a tall top hat on your head, sticking a paper note with 10/6 written on it. Lastly, if you want to go all out with the punk aspect, swing a guitar on your back. In alchemy, nigredo, albedo, citronitis, and rubedo represent the stages of transformation in matter, famously bestowed the title the magnum opus. Nigredo is the blackening, the process of putrefaction or decomposition. Albedo is the whitening, the process of purification and enlightenment. Citronitis is the yellowing, the process of transformation and growth. And finally, rubedo is the reddening, the process of unity and transcendence. Alongside the assigned colours, each stage had a variety of symbols associated with them. In particular, sometimes birds were used: the raven, swan, and phoenix. Side note, the citronitis stage in some sources was merged with the rubedo stage, hence why it's a bit unclear. Regardless, the idea of turning up to a gathering as a flock of ancient winged beings would be cool. A vast array of possibilities is at your fingertips. You could stay very true to the time period and look to paintings of alchemists to decipher the attire worn, or you can take a few liberties with a more fantasy-based design, but each outfit would be monochromatic in colour in accordance to your given stage. Finally, the main accoutrement being large wings attached to each person identical to the birds. Mermaids swim beneath the depths of cerulean waters, their tumbles of hair and tails in rhythm with the waves, while pirates sail their way through them on top, two sides of one coin. Tangled seaweed, marine life and treasures brushing past them both. This is why we propose the idea to merge them together and call it the Sea Maiden Corsair. To achieve this consolidated being, we would take the scale patterns seen in a mermaid's tail for body paint on exposed areas of skin, which can be achieved by placing fishnet tightly on the flesh. Then taking the garments of the pirate to dress your body in, like billowy shirts paired with a skirt that perhaps resembles the shape of a mermaid tail, or pants of equal description. Accessorize with a mussel, oyster, or regular shell for an eye patch. Decorate your body with many pearls, skull-shaped pendants, and coin medallions. Adorn your head with a pirate hat and drench your hair with water. Now you're almost ready to set sail or swim, but no sea thief is without their weapon. Make sure to grab a sword, adding some dark red silk wrapped around the blade to mimic blood floating in the water.